Live with CDP Sports Talk, a weekly sports and entertainment podcast sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet. Live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. And on audio via Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, Anchor FM, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Radio Public, and TuneIn. Now, here's your host, Chris Palme.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Season 14, Episode 31, overall 746 of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, brought to you by our friends at Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership, located at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall. Check out their website, barrycullen.com, for the newest selection of new and pre-owned GM vehicles, along with their great selection of all-electric vehicles, EVs. They're one of the top Ontario dealerships for EV electric vehicle sales in Ontario. And also, they have a great selection of Cadillac vehicles and pickup trucks as well. You can call the dealership at 519-824-0210. Tell them Chris Palme sent you, or you can email them at info@barrycullen.com. Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership has been family run and operated here in the city of Guelph since 1969. Good afternoon or good evening, everybody, on this Friday, August 7th, 2026. And I just got back from Toronto last night at about 2:30 in the morning. I was at the Toronto Argonauts Calgary Stampeders CFL opener for the Argos last night at BMO Field. And if you haven't been to the renovated, beautiful BMO Field, get yourself down there as well. The Argos do a great job with their on-field and off-field product. And shout out to Maple Leaf Sports Entertainment for doing a great job with some of the new renovations down there with new luxury suites. The grass fields, beautiful. And they also now have a new lighting system at BMO Field as well. And the Argos came, most importantly, the Argos came and won 33-30 against Calgary. So the Argos are now 4-4. But anyways, I apologize for being a little bit late here today. Unfortunately, with technology, sometimes technology doesn't always work or go smoothly, but I'm excited to have our guest on today. In the 7 years I've done this show, over 850 episodes of my 3 shows, I've never interviewed somebody from the dental industry today. And I'm excited to have our guest on. This person is in dental operations, a manager and director of patient experience, and she's been in the dental industry for 24 years as well. So please make sure you brush your teeth today and floss. I'm excited to have our guest on, Shynika Etheridge, and we're going to bring her on right now after this applause. We're not going to give her a boo.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Chris, for allowing me to be a part of your show. I truly appreciate it. So, yeah, let's dive right in. I am Shynika, been in dentistry quite some time. I like to tell people I'm one of the fortunate ones. I've been able to work with a lot of great providers who poured into me and taught me so much. So, yeah, I'm the lucky one.
And also, I'm the lucky one as well, because now we're back on LinkedIn. So the folks on LinkedIn can watch our show as well. Hey, and I want to say thank you for being patient and for coming on our show today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you guys for your patience. And, I appreciate the invitation and I'm just looking forward to it. And yeah, this is going to be educational yet fun at the same time, but also a couple of little laughs, right, Chris?
Absolutely. And you know what? Things don't always go smoothly, but I'm excited to have you on the show as well. Now, I had your name right correctly. I wanted to make sure I had it right.
You did. You had it right.
Good. So bonus points for me then.
Boo!
So how are you doing and what part of the States are you in?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. I do a lot of my work in the metro Atlanta, Georgia area. Uh, Gosh, I work with a lot of doctors and providers. Again, like I said, I wear many hats in dentistry. I am the lucky one. I help bridge the gap. That is what I'm known for in dentistry. I kind of connect the right people who need to be connected. And if your numbers are lagging, hey, they call me on board. I have a very high conversion rate. I have a unique way when I I don't look at dentistry like I'm selling it. I don't sell dentistry. What I'm aiming for your trust to reassure you what we're promising you is going to get done at the best of it ability in some way, shape, or form. Make sure you leave out happy, because you're dealing with people. When you're dealing with dentistry, a lot of people have phobia, anxiety,
Yep.
shame that they just now come into a dental office to take care of their oral health. So I try to meet people where they're at, also with understanding, empathy, and compassion, without judgment. Allowing people to be seen. Most people move through like wanting to be seen. Me, nah. I allow you to be seen. You get, you hold the floor. You give me, I'm gonna give you your flowers. So yeah, easy.
Now, do you work for yourself or do you work with insurance companies?
I do a multitude of things. Again, a lot of doctors bring me on. If they're, I help out with insurance. I do credentialing. I help out. Wear many hats. Operational management. Put it like this: if someone needs to bridge the gap or dinner or networking event, they bring me on board. I sow great seeds, so I kind of connect each providers with one another. I work with a lot of hygienists. It's not just me. Again, I like to say I'm the fortunate one because of all the great providers I work with. They poured into me. The Dr. Harry McCool, the Dr. Keisha Washington, the Dr. Push with Dr. Shannon Paris, Dr. Park, bleed in me. These people bleed in me, and I still work with them to this day. Great hygienists. I like to say great dental assistant. Everybody don't know this. A skilled dental assistant in the dental world, we like to call them unlicensed dentists, but you got the ones that do it the right way. It's a couple of them walking out there. Venture a little. I just like to educate myself, learn. I continue to take CE courses. A lot of people stop at one spot. Me, no, I'm always a student first. I love to learn, so I try to keep up with dentistry. It evolves. In the next 5 to 10 years, it's not going to be traditional dentistry as it is right now. It's not. We're going into that dental spa phase. Uh, Botox, facelift, in face products. So it's definitely shifting and changing to that spa scene. Making people feel more comfortable with going to the dentist. It's not going to be just that phobia. You're gonna feel at ease in some way, shape, or form while getting
Do you,
educated.
do you see AI shrinking the dental industry?
So I'm not against AI. I have to tell people this. AI is a great tool. It does work. We all use it, but it does not produce warmth. People still crave the human connection. You would never get rid of that. Imagine going through life without a human connection. So it cannot produce warmth. Everybody want that. When you're having a down day, somebody, to make you feel good about your day, or you know, a patient, like I said, is fear of going to the dental office. It's not necessarily a money issue. Fear of just being judged, or I have not been in a dental office for years. Are they going to judge me because of my oral health? So I try to lead in that capacity to make them feel safe, heard, seen, and without no judgment. And lead with kindness. The simple things, it's not a hard thing to do, believe it or not. It costs nothing to do. Try to lead with kindness. You get to see the beauty in people that way. Very much so. It unravels, you know. And that's kind of
Do
how I
you,
moved in life.
oh, Shanita, Nika, do you think there's a shrinkage in people coming into the dentist with the high cost of dentists nowadays?
It's not necessarily I think marketing, you got to know your demographic, you got to know your patient flow, you got to know your areas. In dentistry, especially in the metro Atlanta area, you can go down the street and find 10 dental offices. What's different about that dental office? What's uniquely, what do they offer? So that's why marketing and knowing your demographic, knowing your patients, knowing your competition is very important in Atlanta. I cannot speak for another state, but in Atlanta, Georgia, yes, you can go on one street right here in 10 dental office. So you have to offer something uniquely different. What's special about your office that's going to, bring patient in? What's special? What's uniquely about it? So, yeah. Dentistry is a quite interesting industry to be in, too. It has changed a lot, changed a whole lot. People are now taking more time and effort in the oral health just because they get educated more. Back in the day, nothing against back in the day, but a lot of people just wasn't educated. They didn't think, oral health was
Education.
important. It's just as important.
Yep.
Disease is linked to heart disease, so I have to tell patients when I interact with people, it is just as important as your physical health, your oral health.
Yep. Wanted to ask you this as well, Shynika. In your 24 years and being in the Atlanta, Georgia area, do you find there's more diversity with the dentist industry now? You're seeing more people of color and women and even transgender or the LGQ is dentists nowadays?
Yes, yes, that's the unique part about Atlanta, Georgia. You can find a very diverse office that fits your need, without judgment, making you feel seen and safe. I have been in offices where transgender are welcome, no judgment, being respectful, everybody being treated equally the same, not based off your gender, creed, what you prefer. It's just your oral health. We're gonna treat you with respect. You're gonna get the right care that's needed. So that is the great thing about Atlanta, Georgia, because it is very diverse. A lot of beautiful African American providers are here. Women, the black women, the women of colors are just like the just top of the scale now. They're really taking over and booming, with practices on their own practices, venturing out in other things outside of dentistry. Some are teaching, some are opening up dental assistant schools. So it's just a multitude of things in dentistry you can do. That's the great thing about dentistry. It's not just about your oral health. You can maneuver in different ways in it. So that's the great thing about it. I love.
Do you find empathy is shrinking for those people that are having trouble financially to affording a dentist?
Well, it's a lot of financial resources now. It's just being educated on, and offices that provide them. A lot of offices don't like to provide them, but it is great. A lot of offices offer them. It's a lot of Cherry, Care Credit, Sunbit, HDFD. It's a lot of financial resources out there for patients. Or, people just don't financially have it. Dentistry is expensive. I used to work for a doctor teeth in a day. $30,000 to $50,000 case. So it's not cheap, but it's well worth the outcome at the end. Definitely well worth it to see someone leave out just happy. You poured life back into them. I have seen a patient come in with nothing and come out with a full set of teeth and just happy and just ready to, walk his daughter down the aisle, and felt good about it. Didn't feel like he was taken advantage of. Felt really good about spending the money, well spent. And then it's plenty of financial resources out there. Again, a lot of offices all offer them. Some more need to because again, dentistry is high, inflation we already know about it. So to the new dental office and the old ones, please financial resources for patient that will help your your patient intake. Definitely will. Again, dentistry is high. Special, offer specials is ways to get the patient in. The boot on the ground method never not stop working. Boot on the ground meaning when I mean boot on the ground, networking, door to door, introducing yourself. Everybody want to pay all this money into marketing, but no one goes and meet your competition. Know what are they doing? What's uniquely special about their practice? Let me see. How can I bring in something not necessarily similar, but what's something different to offer to my patient to get them to stay? I am a big advocate for patient report. It is a very big thing and very important to me. When you treat people, I like to say, like a number, and we all know that feeling when you call somewhere and it's not as bubbly, and you're like, wait a minute, let me call back again. This is not who I want to talk to. You want to speak to someone that smiled through the phone. That's what I tell people. I train smiling through the phone, and you know what that is. That's A1 customer service. I like to describe myself the Walt Disney Chick-fil-A of dentistry. I tend to bend over backwards because patient report is very important. That's the beginning and the end to the beautiful relationship that it starts. I have seen children start as kids, graduate, get married. So that's the beauty of it. And it's because you build that patient rapport in the beginning and they trust you. So once they trust you, you become more than a dental provider. You're family now, and that's how I treat you. If you ever experience me, hey, you're family now. It's not
You
just
said
about the money or your oral health. Your family. So, yeah.
you said the key word trust. It's like a mechanic, it's like a doctor, a dentist, a lawyer. There has to be trust there as well. And Shynika, I wanted to ask you this. Have you ever thought of being a dentist yourself, or you kind of like doing the administration business side of the industry?
But due to health reasons, the only reason why I didn't finish pursuing my career as a dental hygienist and moving forward because unfortunately I got I have a couple of health condition that impact me, hands issues. So that's the most important thing in dentistry. But I am a true dental nerd, so I found my passion, what I love about it, and I just love networking. Love networking, bridging the gap to introducing the right people. Hey, someone's selling the practice. Hey, Shanika, you know someone? Yeah, I think I do. So let me introduce you to XYZ. Or hey, Shanika, you know a doctor that's looking for another doctor? I think I do. So, and because my reputation is well known, I'm big on integrity and character. I tell people I am 70-30 in dentistry. I'm going to tell you why I'm 70-30 in dentistry. 70%, everybody want me on board, 30%. That 30% that do not want me on board, if it's any type of you're not advocating for your patient, embezzlement, or not doing the right thing in dentistry, I would not be a part of that whatsoever. I let doctors know that I'm on board before even bringing me on. I have been in situations where providers have told me, "Oh, Shanika, no, we do things the right way here," and uncover things. So that's why I like to tell people I'm 70 to 30% in dentistry. That 30% may not be fond of me because I do dentistry the right way. We're gonna sow great seeds in dentistry. We don't. I'm always gonna advocate for my patient and make sure it's beneficial for the practice at the same time. It's that's the goal. The patients are. If a patient choose your practice, they're choosing your practice for a reason. It's never about it's about the money, but also the patient. If a patient decide to go somewhere else, that's a patient you lost just because you didn't take the initial time just to get to know that patient, hear what they were saying, understand them. So I always tell people, hey, I do dentistry the right way. I'm no fun if you're doing it wrong. I'm very transparent who I am as a person, how I walk through life. So you know, you know, I'm good, and if you're doing it wrong, no fun. I will find out. But for the most part, I've been fortunate. Like I said, I've been fortunate enough to work with wonderful providers that poured into me. The joke is that I am an unlicensed dentist. I said, nope, I'm not. I respect the DMD and the DDS. I never move with an ego to think I'm bigger than a program. Absolutely not. I can know what all I know, but at the same time, did I go to dental school? No, I do have a clinical background, but I'm very respectful of who went to dental school. And for all the new graduates, if you get a skilled dental assistant, hold on to it. Don't take it as you learn it from a dental assistant. Take it as you learn it from someone, a provider that poured into that dental assistant. It's a lot of great dental assistants that have trained doctors
Yep.
fresh out of school.
Yep.
The ones that
Yep.
have been open to doing it without an ego.
By the way, I've only had two dentists the last 35 years. The first one I had for 20 years, he retired, and then his replacement, who bought his business, her name's Dr. Victoria Chung, and she's been my dentist for the last 15 years, and I completely trust her. Good customer service, good people skills, and her work is good, and I trust her, and we have a good relationship. And yeah, and it's not easy being a dentist putting your hands into somebody's mouth either. And it's not just the physical part of it; it's also the mindset and the mental part of it is too. You want people to come and trust the dentist, and you want them to be able to see their dentist on a regular basis as well. There's a lot of factors going into a good relationship between a dentist and a client from my experience.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. That's where it starts at. That's why I'm a big advocate for patient rapport. You know, it starts there. It starts with that initial phone call. That warmth that you can make a person feel just heard, understood through just by a phone call, simple phone call. That's why I tell
Yep.
front desk administrator, you can't rush through a phone. You don't have to take 15 minutes, but you definitely can't rush through one. I
Yep.
had a provider tell me, Shanika, you don't need to stay on the phone no more than 2 minutes. You won't even get the patient information in 2 minutes, let alone try to bridge the gap and get the patient to trust you to come to
Yep.
your practice. No, it takes
Yep.
more than no more than 5 to 7 minutes, but definitely take your time to hear the patient's need. And most of the time, people, once you build that rapport and that trust, the money will come. I
Yep.
sold a $50,000 case in less than 15 minutes, and the patient paid up front. No question asked. She just said she needed someone to hear her. She called several offices. They hung up. Didn't answer her questions when she had questions. Felt like she was a bother just because she had so many questions. And her question wasn't unforeseen questions. It's just she had a demophobia, and she wanted to make sure everyone was aware of that and know how to cater to her needs once stepping into the practice. Once I made her feel comfortable about that, then she was like, Shanika, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to move forward. I said, really? She said, yes. You answered all my questions. You didn't rush me off. You listened to me. You answered every question I had, even the question that you felt like you didn't know. I did my due diligence to find out, So I advocated for her. And I was honest. If it's something we couldn't do in office, hey, this is something we can't do within our practice. However, let's find you someone else that you can trust and will take care of whatever needs that we can't provide within our practice. So patient report is very, very, very important. It's a lot of patients that I have met over the course of the years that I'm still friends with. I have been invited to Elton John concerts. B&B, you and your husband can have it for the week, free of charge, just because I led with kindness. I made them feel safe. I answered all their questions, made sure they was heard, you know, without feeling like it was about the money. Let me get your money and go, you know. No, I never provide that type of services. No, you will be loved on, like I say, and I will remember you. Certain aspects, certain parts, whatever we talked about, and you're gonna get the same version of me. You're not gonna get this version of me just because I collected this $50,000. Then when you come back a year later and you have $10,000, no, you're gonna get the same version. I don't switch up. Patient report is very important. Patients have choices to go to any dental office they want to. So it is a privilege for them to choose whatever office I'm working in. And that's how dentistry should be looked at. It's a privilege that a patient pick your practice because they can go anywhere. It's their money. So I think a lot of dental practices are missing out on that because they feel like, oh, it's just another patient. No, it's a privilege to have a patient choose your practice, to spend their hard-earned money there, and then word of mouth. Once you build that rapport with them and that trust, guess what they're gonna do? Spread the word. They're gonna tell the
Word of
next.
mouth, Google reviews, word of mouth, absolutely, absolutely. And I wanted to ask you this too, Shanika. How much has the dental industry in the states changed the last 24 years? And for those people that are watching our show right now, live stream or on audio, and they're looking for a dentist, what are some good signs or keys to finding the right dentist?
You you'll know when you're the right fit. If it doesn't feel a warmness to it, or you feel like I'm being rushed off, that's number one. Now, don't get me wrong. A lot of dental offices are busy. A lot of them, 95% of them, busy. So many calls. But if they can answer your question, um, have the necessary equipment to take care of your needs, and you know they get you with that phone call, and that's it. And have financial resource. And even if they don't have financial resource, a lot of offices offer in-office plan, monthly payment. So just that patient report, once you lock them in that way. A lot of dental office run dental specials. $99 cleanings, x-rays included, comprehensive exam and x-rays included. Now, my patients, my lovely patients, when we clinical people tell you guys you're not a candidate for a traditional healthy mouth cleaning, you're not. Don't say, well, I need to get a regular cleaner. No, it is a difference. Oral health care, your oral health is very important. Periodontal disease is linked to heart disease. So don't look at it as, oh, I need a deep cleaning for what? I'm not paying for that. I'm just going to get a regular cleaner. No, no, no. You're not a candidate for a regular cleaning, a traditional healthy mouth cleaning. A lot of patients think they're a candidate for implants. No. If you got severe bone loss, you're not a candidate. We would do our due diligence to provide you with whatever necessary service that we can give. But please don't look at it as a dollar sign. Take care of your oral health. It's no different than your physical health. Very important. Highly important. It will
That's
cost you more in the long run.
And that's something I'm working on too. I do brush my teeth. I use Sensodyne, but I do need to floss more. That's something I've always been
Very
lazy
important.
on is flossing. But I do see my dentist regularly every 3 months. So I do see her a lot. But the flossing is something I've never been strong at, and that's something I need to work on.
You got to do it. You got to do it. Even if you got to purchase a water pick, they have all kind of utensils, toothbrushes you can use, and flosses you can use. But definitely,
So
my biggest thing I notice with patient and dentistry, not all, um, they like to cut costs when it comes to their oral health. No, it's gonna affect you in the long run. If the doctor say he can say you can get a root canal and crown done, get it done. Don't have it removed, cause shifting, you're gonna need dentures, partials in the long run. You think you're saving money, but you're not, you know. And again, I know everybody financials are different, but advocate for yourself. Nobody's going to advocate for yourself like you will, you know. And if you got a doctor that's being honest and transparent with you about your oral needs, do your part. Please do your part.
What are some of the main reasons why some people, and I know some people that haven't seen a dentist in 20, 30 years, they've so far gotten away with it. But what are some of the main reasons you've seen where some people do not see a dentist on a regular basis or ever, and why it's important to see your dentist on a regular basis?
Phobia. Most people either have a dental phobia or had a bad experience, and they let that bad experience trickle down into adulthood, starting from childhood. You know, just phobia. So that's why I say it's very big on building trust with patient. A lot of them have this anxiety. A lot of keep in mind, a lot of offices do offer certain type of services for patients with phobia, but most of the time their phobia come from a bad experience or lack of knowledge, not enough education on their oral health. So that's what a lot of time patients tend to. Oh, I had a bad experience. I'm not going back to the dentist. And when they finally do come back, it's so many other issues they have that it's so far gone, and it is very it's expensive, extremely expensive. But we have to start there. We have to take care of the initial problem. And you just have to educate the patient. That's the most important thing. Being transparent and educating them and gaining that trust. And they feel like they're in a safe space with you. It's not about, okay, this person's trying to just get my money, get the, money out of me. No, we're really here to advocate for you, about your oral health needs. That's what we're here for. Not about the money. We're here to educate you so you can have some understanding and transparency and move forward with it.
Has there been a reduction in bad dentists? Like, is the process now, is it better now to get less bad dentists out there and
We're
hold
not
them
gonna say that that's
accountable?
bad business. I like to say some are unethical.
Okay,
Um, yeah,
better
we'll say
word.
that not
Sorry.
all. Yeah, unethical, but it's a lot of great providers out here doing great things, sowing great seeds, like doing great things in dentistry. Uh, Young babies, Dr. Johnson, Dr. Stephen, Eastside Dental Group. They do great things in the community. Dr. Jared Manning, she is amazing. I had the pleasure to uh, work in her office, and it was a beautiful experience. And Dr. Keisha Washington, she's one of my Shivos. She's definitely poured into me. Dr. Shannon Paris, I wouldn't even be my problem solving skills would not even be where they if it wasn't Shannon Paris. She expected nothing less. You couldn't just be great on her, good on her team. You had to be great. And if you wasn't great, you're going to get it together real soon. So I'm very much thankful for her every day. I'm thankful for the hard push. The Dr. Harry McCool. He is like, anybody know me? Dr. Harry McCool, he taught me about Tiffany Day. I learned so much. He has a dental assistant where she's a dental lab tech. She's an unlicensed dental doctor, Miss Vivian. I learned so much from them. And Dr. Harry McCool, we did not see eye to eye. But he respected the fact that you're good with these patients. You're not only good, you're great with them. And yeah, we made it work. Even when we we bumped head, we made it work. So I'm very thankful for the experience with him. And it did taught me how to get out your feelings. Move forward, get out your feelings, take care of these patients. So yeah, and it's so many beautiful sprinkle providers, hygienists. Belinda Hicks taught me a lot. Gosh, Dr. Chin Park taught me what loyalty looked like. What loyalty looks like. Dr. Chin Park, he is very much loyal to one particular person in it too. And yeah, Dr. Peter Den, he saw me at my lowest in life doing grief. And when I tell you, now it may be a disposition for other people with Dr. Peter Den at Atlanta Dental Team, but for me, he allowed me to grieve in peace. And I learned a lot. I learned a lot from him, and just I learned a lot from his team and him. So I'm very just filled with gratitude for all the providers that I have encountered and clinical team that poured into me. And I always tell people I am a student first. I will learn. I will soak you up for knowledge. I still to this day continue to take CE courses because I want to learn. I want to grow. I want to always evolve. Dentistry is changing. It's it's innovating. Each year is changing. So yeah, just a better nerve.
Currently, currently, how many dentists do you deal with, and do you find there is a shrinkage in people wanting to get into the dentist industry?
I don't think it's shrinkage. I think the problem is a lot of dental students are not educated on the business side aspect. So when you go to dental school, try to take some additional courses, even if you have to pay for it, to know the business aspect part of it. I had a doctor. She was buying a practice, but that same practice she was buying for, she was actually stealing from herself. Doing some underhanded things. I'm like, you talking about buying this practice, you making it unprofitable. You making your margins go down. You do know that. So educate yourself on the business side of dentistry. you know you're going to get the clinical part, you're going to get that comes with experience, but the business side, a lot of dentists do not educate themselves on that, and they get in these practices fresh out of school and don't know the business aspect of it. They hire these big marketing companies and promise they're going to do XYZ this, and don't know the demographic, don't know the competition. So you can pay $30,000 to $50,000 in marketing, but if your marketing company that you hire don't know anything about your demographic, your patient flow, or your competition, then how's that helpful? How's that beneficial? You just took $30,000 and throw it down the drain. You know, numbers
Branding,
are very important.
branding, and marketing yourself, and knowing your clientele is huge.
Yes, very much so, especially in dentistry. Because like I said again, in Atlanta, Georgia area, you can go right down the street. I work with so many dental offices in Atlanta, the Metro Atlanta area. I have went into practices where I have seen the same patients that rotate. And they say, "What are you doing here?" I said, "I'm helping out here." "What are you doing here?" But I didn't have a good experience at that office. So that is how the market is in the Atlanta area. You can go right down the street, see the same patients, just like a rotating door. So you have to offer something different, uniquely special about your practice. And that's why, again, AI is a great tool. I use it, not all the time, but the human connection, everybody craves that, the human connection. Warmth, someone that's going to make you feel safe, you truly trust. Okay, they're gonna really do what they said. They're gonna really fix my teeth. They're gonna really do, this 50 grand is gonna be money well spent. I know I'm in the right place. And, word of mouth. That door to door networking never gets old. Never gets old. Continue to do that. The ones that are doing that. Marketing again is great. Marketing companies again are great. I'm gonna repeat that. I'm not against it. But that door to door networking, getting your face out there, finding whatever great team member you have, you never can go wrong with that. You never can go wrong with that. So
Thoughts on getting your clients as children? Do you find there's less and less children now going to see a dentist, or do you think with the education part of it now, and all this technology and social media, do you find more and more parents are making sure their kids, when they're younger especially, see a dentist? Because I've seen young kids lose their teeth before they're even 20 because they've had bad teeth, or they just never brushed their teeth, or flossed.
the youngest patient I ever worked on was a 3-month old. She was born with teeth, choking hazard. And I never want to experience that again. I had the pleasure of experiencing it again once with my shiro, Dr. Keiji Washington, who poured into me. I have learned, parents tend to make sure their kids' oral health is good over their own. So that's what I have experienced in my years in dentistry. Parents would pay an arm and a leg for their children to get sedated. Whatever has to be done, they're gonna do whatever necessary to get it done. Now put their own self on the back burner, but for the children, I find parents tend to navigate and find the resources for what's needed for their children to get whatever oral health or condition taken care of, if need be.
And we mentioned this before. Trust my dentist, Dr. Victoria Chang. If I need something done and she thinks it has to be done, I get it done. Or she says, "Hey, it can hold off to your next appointment." I completely trust her, and she's always honest with me too. I think being honest and trust, and also being good at your job is obviously huge.
Absolutely, it's very important. And my patients, again, we don't judge in the dental field. No judgment. I absolutely do not. But I do not dictate patient treatment off their insurance. And this is what I tell my patients when they say, oh, whatever my insurance cover, that's what I want to get done. If you have a heart condition, do you want your heart specialist to dictate your treatment or your needs based off your insurance? No, you do not. So I am an advocate of that too. I always tell my patient, hey, this is what you need. I understand if you can't afford it, but at the same time, this is your need. This is what's needed. You know, my conversion rate is high because I educate my patient. I'm not going to dictate your treatment based off your dental insurance, your coverage. No, I work with a lot of fee-for-service offices too. That's why a lot of practices are going into that space, fee-for-service, because the insurance company. And again, I'm not anti-insurance, although I do give my patients the loophole questions to ask, because the insurance company, even the insurance company you pay for, love to try to find a loophole and not to pay. So what I try to do is educate my patient. I give them the golden questions to ask, so it can be beneficial for the patient and also the practice. You know, it's a win-win for everybody in a sense.
Shynika, when did you develop a passion and a love for the dental industry?
Dr. Vivian Hudson, she was my first doctor I worked for. Smyrna Smiles. First doctor I worked for, Dr. A. He was her dental assistant. I met him. We was around the same age. He went to school, dental school, became a dentist, and to this day, he did a crown on my husband some years ago. The crown just came off. This was well over. I've been in dentistry 24 years, so I want to say maybe 23 years. Great work. So Dr. Vivian Husband, she was one of the first providers to take me under her wings and teach me. Her and her husband, funny couple, but I learned a whole lot early on, and I love learning. When I tell you I love learning, and just the clinical aspect of it too, just to learn how new things, just I love new procedures. Oh, I love learning. You know, that's the great part about dentistry. It changes. It changes every year, if not every 6 months. New procedures, new dental codes to use. You know, it's just changed. It's a great space to be in. I'm very grateful and thankful for the space that I'm in.
I wanted to ask you this. If a crown is put in right, how long does a good crown normally last?
If you take care of it, it will last. A good crown, if done properly, can last 10 to 15 years. Again, I have seen them last 20 years. So it's just all about taking care of it. Your oral health, being educated, getting your cleanings done on time. You know, making sure whatever your provider is recommending, you do it. You know, your hygienist, your dentist, you're doing it. You're not putting it on the back burner. Again, I notice patients tend to put their dental needs on the back burner, but it's just as important. And it's your physical needs, you know, your physical health. So, yeah.
What are your thoughts on implants? Because nowadays you hear people, I don't need to look after my teeth. I'll just go get implants. But implants don't always are not a guarantee. They also have to assess. A lot of the dentists here in Canada, they will assess you to see if it will work. Because why spend all this money on an implant if you're not compatible? It's the denture. I just wanted to get your thoughts on implants and all that too, and bridges.
Well, I tell patients that I have seen patients that have the money, you know, have ready to cut a check for $70,000, have terrible bone loss. You're not a candidate for implants. If you got severe bone loss, no, you're not. So I tell patients all the time, you have to make sure you're a candidate first. Just because you have the funds, no. And then I have seen some dentists turn down the money, ethical, provider. No, this patient can't get implants done. I said, well, they have the money. Shynika, I don't care about them having the money. They're not a candidate. We can't do anything with them. It's gonna fail. It's a disservice to the patient. So those are the type of providers I like to work for. Integrity and character. They're not looking at just the dollar sign. They're actually being transparent with the patient. You're not a candidate. Whether you have the funds or not, you're not a candidate. However, we do have some other options. So, and implants are great. I have seen plenty success stories with implants. They're a great tool to use. They're great. It's just making sure you're a candidate. You know, everybody's just not a candidate.
Now, generally in Canada, they want you to wait about a year before you get an implant or a try. Is it the same in the States too? Like after you have a tooth pulled, that you need to wait a certain amount of time to let your
It,
mouth heal?
yes, it is a certain amount of time. They can do, and it depends on the provider, and it depends on each patient, case by case. That's going to be different case by case. Usually 6 months, 3 months to 6 months healing time. It just depends on the case. Each patient is different, but
Yep.
usually 3 to 6 months.
Now the cost of an implant here now with all the procedures and stuff like that is about 6,000 Canadian. What's the approximately cost for an implant in the States in the US?
The average for one implant, it can run you about $3,500, but it's well worth it. It's money well spent, you know. Now, keep in mind, out of that $3,500, 17 of that is lab fee. So that's why so much. So a lot of it just lab fee, you know. So dentistry, just inflation and dentistry is oh, very, it's expensive. Dentistry is expensive. So yeah, the average implant for one can run you about $3,500, around
Which in
3,500.
which in Canadian money, 3,500 Americans about close to $5,000. So really, it's not that much cheaper, really, if you exchange the dollar rates and as and that as well. Now, I'm going to admit this on here. I am a grinder, so for the last 20 years, I've had a night guard. Do you find there's more and more people now that are needing night guards because they grind their teeth?
We recommend, and once you get all your treatment completed and done, we highly recommend a night guard. I have a thrust issue. I have a tongue thrust issue. I'm grinding issue. So yes, anytime you have composite fillings and any type of fillings done, we highly recommend using that night guard to protect them from grinding, so they last longer. So yeah, it's money well spent.
I have a viewer watching from Buffalo, New York, Robbie Schneider. He wants to say hello. Robbie, if you
Uh,
have a question for Shynika, please type another comment in. And Robbie, do you brush your teeth as well, Robbie? He has his own podcast show, so I got to make sure he brushes his teeth as well. Now, I'm going to ask you this, and I admitted this. Do you find there's still a lot of people who are lazy like myself with
Hey,
flossing?
hey, hey, we don't use that term in dentistry. It could be a multitude of reasons why someone can't brush dexterity in their hand, medical reason. We don't judge. At least I
Okay.
don't. I always lead with kindness. But again, you do need to do your due diligence and do your part. There's only so much your dental provider can do. If you can't get three cleanings a year and haven't brushed all year. Come on now. You got to do your part and floss.
Well, it's like
and
your doctor too. You see your doctor, he can prescribe you medications and stuff like that. But if you don't take other actions, the pills and whatever can only do so much. You have to put in the
exactly.
work too.
Exactly. It's not, you have to do your part. And that's why I always like to educate my patients. You have to do your part. You can't
Yeah.
expect a miracle. You can't expect, I have patients now. Um, Veneers are a big thing. People, your natural teeth are what's important. I'm not against veneers. I'm not. They're great aesthetic, look good. But if your natural teeth are nice, don't bother it. Just take good care of them. Whiten your teeth. You want the natural white. Everybody's doing this bleach white. Like, wait a minute, what's going on? It's too bright. It doesn't look natural. So in I said about 20 years when that fades, it's gonna be interesting to see the conversation when that fades.
Hey,
I
Shanika, it's now 5:30. Are you able to stay on another 10 minutes approximately,
I
time wise?
can, of course.
Are you okay? Okay, because this has been a really good conversation too, and that's what I love about this show. It's about my guests and the storytelling aspect as well. And I can relate. We've all gone to dentists and stuff like that, and I'm really lucky to have such a good dentist. And I wanted to ask you this too, Shanika. Can you just tell our audience a little bit about specialing in Nova startups, practice development, and dental consultant? A little bit
Oh,
of
I love the
all.
Nova work. That is my specialty. When I tell you, I absolutely love when a doctor bring me on board and to start from scratch. You learn so much through the hiccups and the mistakes, but you get to see the beauty of it at the end. Like you get to think back 6 months, 6 months from now. Like you remember we went through all the chaos. I remember I worked in the particular office, helped starting up brand new equipment just came out. We didn't know how to work it. We did not know how to work it. I had one of the engineers trained me. Terrell with Atlanta Dental. He taught me a lot. Keith from here in Shine. I was fortunate enough to. He taught me a whole lot. So everybody's like, Snicker, how do you know how to fix things? When they come into the practice, I tell them this: Hey, show me what you did because you guys charge $400 after an hour. So let me show me. Educate me. But yeah, that's the beauty of startups. You get to maneuver through all the hiccups and then see it at the end and it just become a 5-star practice. And you get to think back about all the chaos when you didn't have any patients. Startups, you starting from scratch, no patients. So you definitely going door to door, word of mouth, referrals, getting connected with other providers, sowing great seeds with them because it's going to be a win-win. Hey, you send a patient here, I send a patient to your practice. So that's very important to have great connection with other providers. Very important. It helps.
This question I wanted to ask you too, just for our audience watching live streaming or on audio, and I thank you for watching this show.
Thank,
Overall,
thank you.
Skynika, overall, how important is it to maintain your teeth with brushing regularly and ideally flossing on a regular basis?
Again, just as important your physical health. Just as important. Just as important your health as far as your heart. It's just as important. I don't know why we think it's less important. No, it's just as important. You know, Again, gum disease is linked to heart disease. You know, you start, bone loss. That's when you start losing your teeth. I have seen young adults with bone loss, like 25. That's too young. You see it usually in the older patient, and. So it's just as important. Brushing and flossing and doing your routine visit to your dental office is no cutting corners with that either. Just like your heart, just like your physical health, just like you exercise, it is still just as important. You can't lack in that area either. Expect a great response. A great results. It doesn't work that way. It's just like a person
It's
trying
like
to lose weight. Oh, go
and
ahead,
it's
Chris. I'm
like
sorry.
seeing your eye. It's like seeing an eye doctor, optometrist, eye doctors. They can see if you got when they check your eyes. They can see if you've got cancer or some other issues as well too.
And in dentistry now, that's why oral cancer screening is very important. Now about 95% of our dental offices are doing that now. We let the patient know, hey, get this screening, and you catch oral cancer. I have seen patients been, because of the oral cancer screening, catch catch the cancer early because of the oral cancer screening. So it's very important.
Are you seeing more and more patients end up having oral cancer, or because it's being detected sooner, there's a bit and there's a reduction of it?
I think because people are now educating themselves and knowing how important your oral health is, I think now everybody is like really doing their due diligence and knowing that it's important. Not just because of aesthetic reason, the providers are educating that this is very important. Heart disease, periodontal disease, again, is linked to that. You know, it's some children are born with certain type of defect, iron deficiency. There's a multitude of things, that can cause your teeth to become weaken enamel. So yeah, it's very important.
What do you enjoy the most about being in the dental industry? What is your passion and what do you love about it the most?
The people, all the patient, that's my favorite part. To see someone just leave out happy, feeling like someone like you, it's so rewarding to impact somebody's life in that space. It is the most rewarding feeling ever to see someone just come in disappointed, um, lost for words, knowing, feeling like there's no way out. How can I fix my teeth? I'm shamed, and then they leave out being educated, and it's something we can do. It's the most rewarding feeling. I can't even. It's the people. It is the patient. I love it. That's why I love it so much. That's why I do it. I absolutely love the connection with the patients. I love it. Just to interact with them and just to change their mindset. I have had patients break down and cry on me. Army vet had Phantom syndrome, both legs cut off, and I gave him that moment to be vulnerable, and I allowed him that safe space. Dr. Chin Park, he was like, Shynika, what did you say? Nothing. He just needed that moment. So just to give people that moment, just to be seen, safe, understood, no judgment, that is the greatest gift. And you can't maneuver that way with an ego. Most people want to be seen in life. Not me. I like to make other people feel seen in life. It gives me, I don't know, it pours back into me. That's the greatest gift about it. I know it
Have
sounds
you
so simple. Go ahead,
have you
Chris. I'm
had
sorry.
client No, it's okay. Have you had clients saying that they were in a dentist where they were making fun of them? I've never experienced that, but have you ever had clients come up and say, "Look, I'm leery of dentists because I've had a bad experience with them, with either doing a poor job or are saying making a comment about their teeth or their condition."
Most of the time, it's probably just clinical reason, but not in my 24 years. Rarely I have had a patient or someone and had that type of encounter. That's something you taught in dental school anyway. Not so no, that's not a very it's not a high thing in dentistry. Not to say that it hasn't been done, but I haven't encountered that a whole lot. Most of what I encounter in dentistry just the ones the provider or the officer is not doing it the correct way. It's not being ethical. And again, like I say, I walk in dentistry with integrity and character. I don't switch up. It's not about the money is important. Don't get me wrong, but the patient experience is much more rewarding for me. So,
It takes years to build up a reputation, but it takes seconds or minutes to destroy it. So
that's
you
it.
summed it up right there.
Yeah, that's all it takes. That's once you get your name out there, and all it takes is one hiccup. Everybody know about this recent shenanigan that just recently happened in dentistry in Atlanta. It just take a second. Something you work so hard for, and just you can lose it at the tip of your tongue, just at the tip of your finger, just like that, just being unethical. Or I like to tell my providers, be in the know of what's going on in your practice. A lot of dentists will hire practice managers, regional managers, and do not be in the know. I have seen doctors almost get jail time because something they wouldn't had no idea was being done. Not I always tell providers, keep account of your money. Well, I trust. No, that's fine. You could trust that person too, but still, you count your money too. You know. So always be in the know of what's going on in your practice. You don't have to micromanage. Still find you somebody to trust, but always be in the know. And again, my new dental grads, please learn the business aspect in dentistry. Please, please, please. I think that's why a lot of new dentists fail at when they, open up a practice. They don't know the business side of it. Take a course, pay the continuing education fee, educate yourself to learn the business aspect of it. It is just as important too.
Just like media, I wish when I started this 7 years ago, I learned the business side of media a little sooner than now, because that's what I'm learning as well. Is there's a business side of media, just like the dentist side. And I wanted to ask you this: in your opinion, what is today's biggest challenge in your industry? The one biggest challenge.
Marketing to the right group of patient, your demographic. Marketing. I think that a lot of offices are lagging in that. I always like to say when people bring me on, it starts with your foundation. When I come on board with our practice, I like to assess. They said, Shynika, why you like to go in and find out what the front desk is doing and how the floor of the practice is? That's going to tell me a whole lot. If your upfront person is not answering the phone with grace or smiling through the phone or is very bland, then you're not going to get 12 new patients in 2 weeks. Why? If someone, hey, how are you? They're not bubbly, joyful. If your clinical team in the back is you're not ocean compliant, the office not looking the part, all of that plays a part in patients wanting to come on board. The look, how it smell, how it look, just the interaction with your patient and your upfront team and just your clinical team too as well. All of that plays a factor. So I think that's why a lot of offices struggle in that part, marketing and just knowing that patient demographic and what to bring to the practice uniquely different. I like with the competition. You have to know your competition. You have to know.
And with social media and the internet, if someone has a bad experience with a doctor or a dentist, that
That's the
can
first place they go.
that could that could that could shrink their clientele too, right?
That's the first place they go. When a patient have a bad experience, oh, let me do a bad Google review or a bad review on Facebook, YouTube. So it is very important to make sure your patients leave out happy. Word of mouth, that would never end. AI is great, but if you have 5 patients, all 5 leave out happy, they're gonna probably introduce 10 to 15 more new patients to your practice just because that 5 had a great experience. I have seen it happen. You know.
As we wrap up our show, Shanika, in a couple of minutes, I'm going to put you on the spot here. What's 3 fun facts about yourself and one fun fact about the dental industry?
I am a true dental nerd. The joke is about me. I have dental withdrawal. I have a clinical background. So I still like to kind of get my hands started going in the back a little bit. So sometimes they have to kick me like, Shynika, go back up front or find something to do, whatever office I'm in. I love to lead with kindness. I do. I love to lead with kindness. I love for someone to, I like to create beautiful smiles, beautiful connections. You know, I love to do it. It leaves a beautiful feeling in my heart to do that. And when you're doing it the right way, so I feel good about that.
What's one stereotype of the dental industry still in 2026?
It can be a couple, believe it or not. For years, I used to have to use a generic, not a different name. I had offices that would run pat, just skip over my resume because they would stereotype my name. Again, that's the world we live in. It's still a lot of that going on. Unfortunately, you just kind of have to maneuver through it, and do your best. It's still a ton of stereotypes out here. You know, you just have to do your due diligence and your best to kind of maneuver through it. It's not going anywhere. That's the world we live in. And just try to be your best at whatever you're doing, the best version of yourself. And try to lead with kindness. It doesn't cost anything to do it. You know.
And I think before we went on air today, Shynika, I think we were talking about burnout. Just are you able to share your experience about being burnt out?
Oh, yes. I had a burnout 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I lost my father unexpectedly. I had a
I'm so
burnout. Like,
sorry.
thank you for that. Like the young kids say, a crash out. Yes, I definitely had one. I had a burnout. I was doing a whole lot in dentistry when a multitude of hats, just wearing so many hats. Clients here and there, working with other dental practices, dental team members. So you have to, and I mean you have to work life balance. Your body will shut down before your mind tell you. So that is very important. Dentistry can burn you out. It's probably I think the second high risk career where you have so many health issues later on down the line. Half of people in dentistry either can't hear good, see good, hand issues, back issues. So yes, burnout is have to work life balance. You have to, because the dentistry is such a it's a high pace career to be in. You're seeing so many patients, so many people. It is a higher production environment to work in. So you have to work life balance. You have to. It is inevitable. You're gonna have to, or you will burn out, and your body will tell you before your mind do
Very,
it.
it's a very stressful profession.
Very, very, very stressful because you're dealing with people. You're dealing with all types of people. You're not just dealing with your patients. You're dealing with your colleagues. You're dealing with, and you with your colleagues, what more than family. So you're dealing with all these different personalities each day for 8 hours a day. So you have to work life in balance and find whatever give you peace, whatever type of solitude, utilize it daily. If you meditate, meditate. I have to thank Dr. Peter Den for this. With intention, which I'm very intentional now with meditating, truly meditating, journaling, with intentions of doing it. So you have to find something to find balance where you don't get burned out. Because it's very easy to do in dentistry. Very much so easy to do in dentistry.
And one thing I've learned too, and I've done this with my dentist too. Sometimes you when she's not working, you can also they can be like a shrink to you as well. People
Yeah,
come in and talk.
yes, everybody in the dental profession is definitely unlicensed therapists. Believe it or not, that is an ongoing joke too, because the patients will spill all their life stories, but it's a gift and a curse. The only curse about it is, okay, we got to get started with you, okay? But yes, everybody in the dental profession, that's in the healthcare industry. I think across the board in the healthcare industry, um, if you're in it, you are probably considered unlicensed therapist to most patients, if not all. But that's the beauty of it too, as well. You get to provide that safe space for people to open up, to be vulnerable, to feel safe. So that's the beauty of it. Yeah.
Shanika, as we wrap this show up, this is a new segment on my show. It's called Ask the Host CDP a Question. And by the way, a fun fact about me, CDP are my initials.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And you're pretty hilarious too, Chris, by the way. Pretty, you know, you
Me?
sure you're not a, yes.
How? What? Really? Funny?
Yes, yeah, you're funny. I think so.
You like my humor? Okay.
I love it.
We'll have to do a comedy act together.
Definitely do. We definitely will do it. I'm on board for that.
Your name first.
No, Chris and the Shynika show. I don't know. Let's ponder that a little bit and see how it goes.
Have you thought about having your own podcast in the future or a once a month podcast?
I'm not really a public speaking person. That's something I'm working on. People tend to say it comes out naturally when I'm talking about dental or talking to a patient or when I'm doing
Yeah.
my, converting over a case. It comes off so naturally. But no, I haven't. No, it's nothing that pumped up my brain yet.
So, do you have a question to put me on the hot seat?
Hot seat, Chris. Hot seat, Chris. This is my question for you. What
I'm
made you
on a
reach out
step
to me?
stool.
What made you what was so intriguing about me for you to want to reach out to me to interview me? What was it?
Being in the
Hot
dentist
seat moment.
industry.
Well, it's
Well,
fantastic.
I've done like 850 shows. I've done a lot of diverse guests and topic, but I've never in my 7 years had somebody on that was in the dentist industry. So it was being in the dentist industry, and you seem to have a natural going personality, and obviously we're a good fit for each other. And I always tell people when I always talk to potential guests, I tell them my story, what am I about, who am I, what I'm doing, and then I have them check out my work, and hopefully we're a good fit. And I realize this too in media. You're not going to be everyone's cup of tea. So maybe some potential
Exactly.
guests are not a good cup of tea for me, and sometimes I'm not a good cup of tea for them. So I just try to be myself, and I've just been very thankful. But just your that industry, the dental industry, my dentist, I love her. She's great. She's been my dentist for 15 years. I've asked her to come on my show, but I don't think she feels comfortable doing this kind of a format. So I really wanted to do a show on the dentist industry as well, and your career. And my show is based on guests and their careers and their stories.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Chris. This has been a great experience too, by the way. So maybe I may tap into that. Who knows? But
Have you ever been to Canada before?
no, it is on my bucket list to do. I want to see the Niagara Falls on that end of it. So yes, it
That's
is on my bucket list to travel to.
It's only an hour from me, and they have over 140 wineries in the Niagara region.
I love it. I love it. So hopefully when I come to visit, I get an invite, right?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I don't live that far from Niagara to the Niagara region, so yeah, hopefully one day you get to come and visit as well.
I'm gonna hold you to that. We're live. You can't take it back.
Nope, absolutely. And finally, Shanika, where can our audience follow you on social media? I'm not sure you have a website, and what's the best way of contacting you?
Not just yet. I will be launching soon. Gratefully for me, again, reputation, reputation. I have been able to sow great seeds in dentistry. You can find me on Facebook. I'm not really a social butterfly, so I'm all new to this, but I'm definitely on Facebook, Instagram. You can find me, Google me. You'll find me. I'm not hard to find.
And Shanika, as we wrap this show up, if you would like to stay on a couple more minutes, that's great. If not, I was going to play a video from YouTube from the registered nurse, and they just talk about a little bit about more in depth about dentistry. So I'm not sure if you have a few more minutes to
Yes,
watch that
yes, of
video.
course, of course. Of course,
Okay.
because that is now registered nurses. You guys get certified for Botox. That is a big thing now in dentistry.
So,
So go get certified for Botox. Please do take a course, C course. A lot of dental offices are looking for registered nurses to,
okay.
do your part.
I'm going to play this little video now, and then we'll wrap up. So it's up to you if you want to watch the video or you have to head out.
No, I'm gonna watch it, Chris. And thank you again for having me on. Thank you for everyone that's tuning in. Hey, look forward to doing this again. It's been great.
Thank you so much, Shanika. And please let me know if you can hear the audio. I'm the audio guy. So if it's no good, then we'll fire the audio guy.
No, let's give grace. I believe in giving grace.
I wear
Everyone
10 different,
deserves it.
and I wear not just this hat, I wear literally 10 different hats. And I do have a big head, by the way.
You don't.
I have to put my head in the dryer.
Chris, cut it out. Run the video. You're silly. Thank you guys for watching me. Thank you, Chris, for having me on. It's been such a pleasure. I look forward to doing this again. Thank you again. I will continue to bridge the gap through dentistry. I do a multitude of things in dentistry.
Okay, well, we're going to play this video right now.
This is Ben with RegisteredNurseRN.com, and in this video, I'm going to talk about the anatomy of teeth. But first, I want to ask you a quick question that many people get wrong. Your teeth are considered bones, true or false? The answer is false. Although teeth and bones do have a similar appearance, they also have important differences. Therefore, anatomists do not classify teeth as bones. Now, as you look at the anatomy of a tooth, you will see that it consists of three major parts: the crown, the neck, and the root. The crown is the visible portion of the tooth above the neck and extending out of the gums. Just as you have a crown on your head, you can think of the tooth's crown as the head or top of the tooth. It is covered in a hard protective layer called enamel, which covers the dentin and underlying pulp chamber and pulp. The neck of the tooth, also called the cemento-enamel junction or cervical line, allows for the attachment of the gingivae or gums to the teeth, and it represents the area where the crown's enamel layer meets the cementum layer covering the tooth's root. You can usually see the visible line of the neck when you look at an extracted tooth. Finally, you have the root of the tooth, which is the larger portion extending down from the neck or cemento-enamel junction to the root apex, and it is secured to a socket of alveolar bone in the mandible or maxilla. Now, some teeth, such as the incisors, have just one, while other molars can have 2 or 3 roots. And just as the crown is covered in a protective layer of enamel, the root is covered in its own protective layer called cementum, which covers the dentin and its underlying root canal and pulp. So the teeth have those 3 major parts: crown, neck, and root, but these parts are comprised of 4 major tissue types. You have enamel, cementum, dentin, and pulp. Enamel, which makes up the hardened outer layer of the crown, does not contain living tissue such as vessels, nerves, or cells. Instead, it is mostly comprised of a dense arrangement of minerals such as hydroxyapatite, which are formed into tiny prism rods that run in a wave pattern perpendicular to the tooth surface, though they can also run parallel near the tooth's neck. Although enamel is the hardest substance in the human body, it can be dissolved after prolonged exposure to acid produced by dental plaque, which can eventually lead to the development of cavities. And acidic foods can also temporarily soften enamel, which is why dental health professionals sometimes recommend waiting up to 30 to 60 minutes to brush your teeth after you eat acidic foods. Another type of tissue found in the tooth is cementum, which is the hardened bone-like tissue that covers the tooth's root. It's formed by cells called cementoblasts. And cementum has a light yellow appearance, as you can see, and it consists of a lower mineral concentration than both enamel and dentin, making it softer in comparison to those tissues. Now, the periodontal ligament surrounds and attaches to the cementum of the tooth and anchors it to its socket in the alveolar process of the jawbone. Cementum is also one of the 4 tissues that make up the periodontium, which surrounds and supports the teeth. The other 3 being the gingivae or gums, the periodontal ligament, and the alveolar bone proper. A third type of tissue found in the tooth is called dentin, or sometimes dentine. And this is another hardened tissue, and it is deep to both the crown's enamel and the root's cementum. It is formed and maintained by cells called odontoblasts. As you can see, dentin accounts for most of the tooth's mass, and it contains a mineral content of around 70%, which makes it harder than cementum and even bone, yet softer than enamel. Dentinal tubules run through the dentin in a parallel pattern, originating at the pulp cavity and ending just short of the enamel or cementum. And these tubules transfer nutrients from the pulp to the dentin and contain an odontoblast process which maintains the dentin. Because these tubules originate at the pulp of the tooth, which contains all the vessels and nerves, any damage to the enamel or gums can affect these tubules, which may result in tooth pain or sensitivity. And the border where the dentin meets the enamel is called the dentino-enamel junction, or DEJ for short. And the border where the dentin meets the cementum is called the dentino-cemental junction, or DCJ for short. And finally, the dental pulp is the last type of major tissue that makes up the tooth, and this is a soft tissue that is located within the pulp cavity of each tooth. The pulp cavity has two main parts: the narrow root canal of the root or roots, and the larger pulp chamber located in the crown. The root canal originates at a small hole in the apex of the root or roots called the apical foramen, and it travels up the root of the tooth and then expands into a larger pulp chamber within the crown of the tooth. The pulp's tissue consists of odontoblast vessels and nerves, which together supply the tooth's nutrition, sensation, and immune defense, as well as the secretions that maintain the dentin. And finally, just as you have four main tissues that make up the teeth, you also have four types of teeth in your mouth: the incisors, the canines, which are also called cuspids, the premolars or bicuspids, and the molars. And I'll talk more about those in my next video. Okay, that wraps up this video over the anatomy of the teeth. And you can take a free quiz on our website and link in the description or comment section below. In addition, we have an entire playlist of
That clip was courtesy of Registered Nurse RV. Shynika, just thoughts on that video.
Great video, great video. We're gonna make it a little funner next time. Put a little dental joke in there. That'll help.
And as we wrap this up, final thoughts.
My final, for me or the listeners?
For the show. Final thoughts.
Final thoughts. I thoroughly enjoyed it. This is all new to me, this speaking on podcasts. And like I said, I'm just a girl that loves dentistry, but I appreciate you having me on. I appreciate everyone that's taking the time out to watch. Again, I hope it was educational in some way, aspect. You learned something, got something out of it. Yeah, just a dental nerd girl.
And you can see me okay, right? You can see me okay?
Yes, I can see you, Chris, and I'm not stepping on you either this time.
You wouldn't do that, right?
Would not. Absolutely not. This has been fun with you, Chris. I look forward to doing this again.
Absolutely. You have an open invite to come back on this show or my other show called The Small Podcast.
Thank you. Thank you again for having me. And thank you, everyone, for watching. Everyone, take care.
Thank you so much, Shynika.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, everyone. That wraps up my first ever dental show. And I want to say thank you to my guest, Shynika Etheridge, who is in dental operations and does a lot of great work with clients as well. So thank you to Shynika Etheridge for coming on. And I want to say thank you, everyone, for watching this show on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, X, and Instagram, and also to my audience listening to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Good Pods, and wherever podcasts are available. And I have another announcement to make as we wrap up this show, guys. My next live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, brought to you by BarryCullin.com. It's going to take place Sunday, August 9th at 7 p.m. Eastern with my special guest, Dr. Ola BC. Dr. Ola BC, she is an American psychiatrist and a neurological board certificate psychiatrist. So Dr. Ola BC will be on my show this Sunday, August 9th at 7 o'clock. So she is a certified psychiatrist in the United States as well. So I'm looking forward to having Dr. Ola BC on our show 7 o'clock. So tune in for that as well. And anyways, guys, I've had a busy week with doing 4 more shows, and I was in Toronto last night. So make sure you check out my social media pages for Toronto Argonauts content. I got a post-game interview with Mike Miller and a post-game interview with wide receiver number 86, DeMonte Coxey, who had 8 catches for 161 yards last night in the Argos 33-30 win as well. So check out all my Argos content as well. And a big shout out to MLSE for some of the improvements they've done with the in-game experience for Toronto Argonaut fans at BMO Field, and I'm sure for the Toronto FC who played there as well. And that is about it, guys. Before we wrap up this show, I just got a couple more things I want to announce, and that's right now at Barry Cullen Chevrolet dealership, you can get a $25 SOE gift card with the purchase of an oil change and an eligible vehicle health check. This offer is valid from June 1st, 2026 to August 31st, 2026. So hurry up and book your appointment today at Barry Cullen Chevrolet dealership. And they are located at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall. Check out their website, barrycullen.com. And they've been a proud advertiser and sponsor of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show for the past 3.5 years. And also, if you're looking to foster or adopt a cat, check out the New Hope Animal Rescue Group located at 4990 Jones Bay Slide in Guelph, Ontario. All appointments are done by telephone. Please give them a call at 519-836-9780 or visit their website, New Hope Animal Rescue Guelph.ca, if you want to foster or adopt a cat. And they've got 3 cats down at Pet Value right now. I believe Peanut is on hold for adoption, but Rav and Wyatt are a bonded pair. So please check out my social media pages for their story. And also, they are down at Pet Value here in Guelph, the Paisley Road location at 1005 Paisley Road. If you want to come see Wyatt and Rav, they are a bonded pair and they're beautiful cats. And I love going in there and giving them treats as well. And finally, guys, if you're looking to adopt a pet, there's one other place I would recommend, and that is where I volunteer twice a week, the Cambridge and District Humane Society, located at 1650 Dunbar Road in Cambridge, Ontario. Telephone number 519-623-7722, extension 0. Ask for Kat or Michelle or visit their website, cambridgehumanesociety.org. All the pets and animals that are up for adoption, their profiles and information are on cambridgehumanesociety.org. And again, I'm going to wrap this show up, guys. I've had a long, busy week, and I want to say thank you again to Shynika Etheridge for coming on and talking about her 24-year career in the dental industry down in Atlanta, Georgia. And please make sure you follow her on Instagram and on Facebook as well. And that is about it, guys. I possibly might be going to the Oblivion Car Show 80s, 90s this Sunday in Milton, right off the 401. So I might be going to that. So fingers crossed. And make sure, again, you check out my Argos content as well. So again, thank you everyone for watching and listening to Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, brought to you by our friends at Barry Cullen Chevrolet dealership and hosted by yours truly, Chris Palme. I hope everybody has a great weekend, and we'll see you back here Sunday night, August 9th, 7 o'clock with psychiatrist Dr. Ola BC. Dr. Ola BC will be on, and we're going to talk about her profession as a psychiatrist and some of the stereotypes as well. That's it. Have a great evening, everyone, and enjoy the rest of the weekend and also some CFL action as well. Good night, everybody.